My first day as a member of the
Knights of the D-Pad.
It was hot, it was sandy, chaotic. Nothing at all like the simulations.
In the BYU Broadcasting building.
Of course, that's pretty much the way it was for all of us, wasn't it? All that breeding, all those years of training. It doesn't really prepare you for all the screaming or the blood, does it? Frankly, I'm still amazed we ever made it through the first hour. Never mind the first day.
Welcome, everyone.
Nice.
Scott is like, welcome.
No, that was sick, actually.
It was sick. Welcome to the 9th episode of Season 4, as we've played musical chairs with the hosts again. Hyrum's back. Say hi, Hyrum.
Hi.
And your mic's actually working this time.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
I'm hearing it, and it's coming through. We're all, we're here.
They should stay on.
I don't really remember. I don't think Ben actually said what he was doing. Cort's doing his normal stuff, but I don't know what Ben is up to. He just said he wasn't going to be here, so here we are. Here, for the first episode filmed on my beefy new computer that I built last week, so this is fun times for me getting to do this. But anyways, Skyler's back, and now Hyrum is now to my right, left. My right from my perspective, left I guess from the screen's perspective. Unimportant. Don't worry about it. We've got a fun stuff to talk about. We don't have a large agenda, so hopefully we don't waste people's time. So there's that. Let's start with a silly topic that was brought up right last second before we actually started filming, because we were reminded it existed. So over the last week, they've been announcing the cast for the Among Us TV show. That was not something I knew was existing until I saw that Elijah Wood was being casted as a green Among Us guy. They've got Randall Park, and they've got Yvette Nicole Brown, and Ashley Johnson, and apparently Michael Cera's in it too. It's we know nothing about it. We know nothing about the show other than it's animated. Like, that's it. That is the extent of our knowledge.
Just when you thought Elijah Wood couldn't top his role as Frodo, now he's the green Among Us guy. And what if he is the imposter?
Well, according to reports, he's gonna be playing Green, who's going to be an unpaid intern. So he's gonna be playing the role of Carl. Maybe he'll get college
seems
credit.
Pretty sus, to be honest.
Maybe he'll get well. The suspicious and sarcastic head of security is Ashley Johnson's purple character. So,
but there's no way that they would tell you that she's the imposter by listening to her.
Essentially, I could foresee this show just playing out like Murder on the Orient Express, but it's just Among Us instead. Yeah. I think that might be the route we're going here. Yep. It's just a really weird version of Murder on the Orient Express.
Any idea how many episodes it's supposed to be?
Nope, we don't even know that.
Okay.
Wow,
all I know is that it's being handled by CBS's animation arm, iAnimation Productions.
Oh, it's animated.
Oh, thank goodness.
Wait, I thought they're doing a live action?
Yeah, they said animated.
You never know.
That would be way funnier.
You thought they were gonna
I feel like that would be hilarious to do it live action. Have them in all green, wearing like space suits.
It would be like one of those, like, it's so cringy and so bad that it's funny.
Exactly.
More than it actually
that
is.
would make it better.
Just walking around in those giant inflatable suits.
Yes.
And so in order to stab them, they have to like stab through like 6 feet of air. As they're walking around in giant morph suits. That's a little too silly. The fact that this is even happening is silly enough. But Cort will be happy. Cort will be happy to know that Among Us is getting a TV show. So we brought it up just for you, Cort. Just for you. Let's now talk about Minecraft's doing silly things. Minecraft usually, it's like you never hear anything about Minecraft until something ridiculous is happening in the game, and then suddenly everyone knows about it. So they're releasing the mace as a new weapon, which at first glance, you're like, oh, it's pretty cool. You know, it's like a smash attack. So you basically deal damage as you like fall. So you you use it. I think you can use it to like cushion your fall. So if you hit an enemy with it, it like takes basically all the damage that you would have taken as fall damage and just sends it at the enemy.
That's okay.
And so it gives and then there's like another attack that can give a knockback effect, and then you can. So because it uses basically your fall damage, so the longer you fall, the harder you hit. You can combine it with breeze rods to like launch yourself up into the air and then like basically Thor style like slam on top of an enemy, and it sounds all cool, and it's like, wow, this is a really cool ability, until you realize that if you go high enough in the air, you can one-shot the Warden, the Ender Dragon, the Wither, and any other mob that you could possibly think of.
Wow.
I love it.
I wonder if it'll change how the speedruns are done.
I would assume so, when you can one-shot the Ender Dragon.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's fun. I don't remember off the top of my head what like the block height you need to be at to hit the Warden. I think it's like 87 or maybe it's 93. It's like somewhere in that range. But like as soon as they announced the mace, my Twitter timeline was just full of videos of people just jumping off of tall like just really tall towers and just one-shotting the Warden. And since it like, as long as you hit the attack, it negates all fall damage. So you can now use it instead of water buckets to like drop from high places as long as you hit the enemy. If you miss the mob, you're just dead. So you are going all in on your ability to hit the mob.
Yes.
But yeah, so Mojang has now introduced the ability to one-shot the supposedly unkillable Warden. So that's fun.
That is fun.
And adds a whole new level to your MLG Minecraft compilations, where you can do like 360 mace hits on the Ender Dragon in the end. So I wanted to mention that because I think it's that is making Minecraft interesting now that they're adding that. But let's talk about the Video Game Hall of Fame now. I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't know this existed.
I didn't either, but the finalists for the Video Game Hall of Fame have been announced. I guess apparently every year they pick a video game to join the Hall of Fame.
It is very funny looking at the 4 nominees. One of these things is I only saw 4. 4 were there we go. I like looking at these. It's like it's like this is a weird selection of games.
It is a very weird selection of games. I was noticing that. So the games, I'll read them out for our viewers, but there's Asteroids, just like the really old Atari game. Elite, Guitar Hero, Metroid, Myst, Neopets, which I find very interesting.
That deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I used to play the heck out of Neopets, I'll be honest.
Resident Evil, Sim City, Tokimeki Memorial, which is literally a dating simulator. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Ultima, and You Don't Know Jack, based off of the TV game, or the TV, like,
Oh, I think this is, like, basically the first Jackbox, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like...
so...
Huh.
Who determined this?
Some of them make sense, like Asteroids and Metroid.
Yeah, some of them.
And
Tony Hawk, and even Guitar Hero, but like, what the heck is Myst? I'm going to assume that Tokimeki Memorial is probably on here because it's probably the first ever genuine dating sim.
It was apparently it was not the first, but it was like a very influential one because it had good like storytelling and graphics, I guess.
Yes. I play the dating sim for the story.
Yeah.
Like I if I had to take a pick, I genuinely I'm either going If Neopets made it out, Neopets is the least video game of these nominees.
No, they had like a million games on that. Like the potato counter
was like a very influential. It was very generational. It was
yeah, but you can't say that Neopets was more influential than Tony Hawk Pro Skater or Guitar Freaking Hero.
Well, I promise you right now, I have more hours on Neopets than I do on Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Well, unfortunately, Skylar, I don't think they're polling just you.
No, Guitar Hero though is a good one. I love Guitar Hero.
I love that because like Guitar Hero, there aren't many like it's got like its own arcade cabinets now. Like
yeah.
Like where Tony Hawk, I think Tony Hawk Pro Skater also
they just released a new one.
I think they have I think that game genre is still. I think that game series is still going. I don't think it's done yet.
I would not be surprised. But yeah, a lot of them make sense, but then some of them it's like
missed.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. So I think like. I don't remember when the voting is supposed to close, when it's supposed to be announced, but keep your eye out.
I'm looking. Yeah, I'm not seeing. You know what? Because we're here. You know what? Because there's not a whole lot else. Let's look what else is here. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you pick. Let's see. Is there a vote? Is there?
Is
a
it
date?
like fan voting?
March 14th through 21st. There it is.
Okay.
So we are in that period.
The final inductees will be revealed on May 9th. So, everyone make sure you go and vote for Tokimeki. And yeah, go and vote for that. And Neopets. Let's look at just for my own curiosity. Let's see recent inductees. Barbie fashion designer. Why in the world was this inducted last year? Computer Space. Okay. I'm not sure what that is. The Last of Us was inducted last year. So was Wii Sports.
Okay. That was very...
Load more. All right. What else was there from last year? Miss Pac-Man, the first Civ game, Ocarina of Time, the first DDR, Pac-Man, Pong, World of Warcraft, Doom, Oregon Trail, GTA 3, the first Legend of Zelda, Sonic the Hedgehog, the first Sims, Space Invaders. I'm just reading off games that have been inducted. Microsoft Flight Simulator, Animal Crossing for the wow. Okay. Street Fighter 2, Donkey Kong, King's Quest, Centipede, Minecraft. Dude, there's a lot of games. Tomb Raider, Space War, Colossal Cave Adventure, the first Madden, Final Fantasy VII. Kyle will be happy about that. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Wow, that's not a game that I ever thought I would see. The first StarCraft, Halo Combat Evolved, Pokemon Red and Green, and that's it.
Wow.
I mean, they have some good stuff on there.
Yeah, some of them
that one is actually pretty good.
Super out of the blue.
It's just weird that like certain games have been put in before other ones. Like how is GTA 3 in before like Metroid or Asteroids?
The most modern game in here is The Last of Us. Like,
yeah, that too is a bit weird.
The Last of Us was inducted last year, and I think that's the most modern gen game, at least in terms of release date. Because you have things like World of Warcraft and Minecraft, but like they're still being updated, but they weren't released recently. But the last. Okay, you know what's really funny is the image. The image they have for Minecraft is of the Xbox edition. Minecraft Xbox One edition. Wait a minute. Why don't you just show the actual? Okay.
Okay.
So, we all learned that the Video Game Hall of Fame is a thing now. Congratulations. Yes. You now get to all share in this knowledge like we do. So do with that what you will. So go and vote.
Yep.
So that Tokimeki's dating sim can make it into. That would be quite silly.
That would be great.
That would be quite silly. That would be quite silly.
It would be very silly.
Let's run into esports stuff now, Skyler. Take your pick, whichever one you want to start with.
Yeah, sure. I'll just start with the CS2 stuff since, it's just going to be kind of quick and I'm not going to go into like my pick'ems, for example, for like who I think is going to win, but I could.
He pulls out the white.
I'm trying to get that diamond coin. But yeah, there's actually some breaking news for the CS2 major that was just announced this morning. One of the teams that qualified from Europe, 9 Pandas, which I was super excited to get their stickers in the game. And it's still unclear, which will make sense in a second, but it was just announced that they are not going to play at the major due to travel issues. They were unable to field a full roster. Only 3 of the players made it to Copenhagen.
Visa moment.
So they will instead be replaced by a team called Gamer Legion, which was actually the runner-up at the Paris major. Which is not why they qualified, like, instead of 9 Pandas. They were, like, just next in the rankings or whatever. But, yeah kind of, like, obviously super devastating for the players who grinded their way to make it to the major. And it's unclear whether their stickers are still going to be in the game or if they're going to be entirely replaced by Gamer Legions, which the stickers still haven't even been released yet. And it's literally less than 24 hours before the major. And everybody's like super mad about it. Like someone posted on Twitter the other day, like on average, the stickers have been released at least 8 days before the major. And right now, in less than 24 hours, we still don't have them.
We are definitely less than 8 days.
Which, like, maybe it has to do with like some of these issues, like 9 Pandas, or I also saw a couple things where the players get to like choose how their autographs look when they get their like autograph stickers in the game. And I saw that like a couple players, Valve had put in the wrong autograph, like not the most recent one that they submitted. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. We'll see. I'm assumed they're going to get released by tomorrow when the major starts, I hope. Unless they have to scramble and put together stickers for Gamer Legion. I don't know. But kind of crazy. There's not a whole lot of information about like the whole 9 Pandas situation other than it's like called travel issues. From what I understand, 9 Pandas is primarily a Russian team, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
It
could.
It could. I know in like in the Overwatch in the Overwatch Champions series, if a player they literally do not allow players from Russia. Like if you are from Russia, you are from a non-qualified region, and you will be your team will not be able to participate with you.
The only thing I would say to that is they. Also on Twitter, I saw they have like a list of how many people are representing each country, and I think there's like 28 Russian people going to the major. So, but you know, I have to speculate just because, like, you know, it is like a thing that has impacted at least Counter-Strike and probably other esports, the Russia situation. So, but you know, not to focus on that. You know, main thing is about the players. Like, really devastated for them. Hopefully they can still have their stickers in the game even if they won't get to play. Like they weren't by any means like the favorites to win or anything, so a lot of people it is mostly about like just getting your name in the game, being part of the game forever, you know, making your mark. So we'll see how that plays out in the next 24 hours, I'm assuming.
Do the teams get any share of the revenue for sticker sales? They do? Okay.
They do. And it's very important. Like, that's how a lot of teams, like, stay in the black. Is that the term? I'm not, like, a business person.
They stay in the green.
Yeah, it's in the green? Okay.
Well, you're not losing money. You're either in the green or you're in the red.
I do not study business. But yeah, it's like a main source of like revenue for teams. In fact, like there was an Australian team which like that region isn't the strongest like in the world, Oceania. So they've made it to most of the majors. Greyhound, they did not qualify to this major, and immediately after they failed to qualify, they like announced that their org was disbanding. So it seems like at a surface level they were like entirely reliant on sticker money.
We're a sticker first kind of organization.
Yeah. So it is a big deal whether the 9 Pandas stickers get in there or not. Because it's not just the teams, but the players get money too. So
yeah, they get a cut of it.
it's very, very important.
Wow.
Didn't
Plus, I want
realize.
panda stickers in the game so I can put them on my skins. That is
Also
important
true,
to me,
true,
too.
fair, and real.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, though. I know, because it happens in every esport. When there's international events, there's always at least a player or a team that, like, runs into some kind of visa issues. And it's usually, you hear about it, like, with Korean players not being able to get American visas in time. Because it's like the Europeans usually are able to get it in time for the US, but it's like Korea always seems to be the trouble country when it comes to getting visas in time if they don't have enough warning. So it's interesting that this time it is on the European side. For another European country, no less.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
I don't know.
interesting.
Oh no. Hopefully they get their panda stickers.
I hope so. I mean, the files are already in the game. Like, the files for the stickers, even though they're not released, they've been leaked. People went into the game files, and we've seen, like, the panda stickers. So, I mean,
I feel like if they don't, I feel like if Valve doesn't put them in the game, then Twitter will make them put them in the game.
I don't know this, but there's been other, not necessarily similar situations, but for example, there's been a situation where, like, a team is qualified for the major with, like, a certain 5-man roster, but then one of the people gets replaced or something like that, where it's like a player on the team's roster playing at the major didn't get his sticker in the game because he, like, wasn't on the roster, like, when they qualified or something like that. And then they didn't, like, change anything or put it in. So it's hard to say what Valve will do. They kind of don't communicate that often.
I feel like there's a higher chance that Gamers Legion doesn't get stickers in the game, and the pandas do get their stickers in the game because the files are already there.
Yeah, I think that would be fine, to be honest. Like, obviously, the Gamer Legion people would want their stickers, but I think they would understand if they're not going to be in, especially since it's literally like a day before the major starts. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting.
That is interesting.
And then what about what's Riot doing again? I feel like Riot always finds ways to just have fun with League of Legends and esports.
Well, hopefully this will actually be fun and positive. This kind of happened out of the blue. I don't think anyone was necessarily expecting this announcement, but essentially Riot announced that they're going to be changing the League esports model specifically for the North American, European, and Korean leagues, the LCS, LEC, and LCK. They announced that hopefully this will also be applied to the Chinese league, the LPL, in the future. But they posted, like, this really long article filled with, like, business jargon, so I kind of just, you know, skimmed it and found the stuff that I could actually, like, understand and that mattered to me. But yeah, they're changing the business model. I made notes of a couple of the main things, and it seems like primarily, and they mentioned that they want to try and make it more like Valorant, like the Valorant model, which I don't know all the intricacies of that, but it seems like previously, or at least like currently, for teams in these leagues, a lot of their revenue is dependent on getting sponsors and sponsorship. I think it said in the article that, like, teams have an agreement they will like put up, like, I think it's like $10 million or something, like, and give it to Riot, and then in return for that upfront money, they will receive 50% revenue of whatever the league makes and, like, split it with Riot. So, and because of that, it's super important that these leagues get sponsors. But that being said, you know, that can, like, fluctuate and be not very stable. And if the league is overly dependent on sponsors and can't get it, then the teams kind of suffer. So it seems like Riot is trying to make it better and fix that, because they recognize that, you know, esports is kind of hard to be profitable in, generally speaking, for teams. And lots of people are talking about how esports is, like, going to die soon. And Riot's here to just say, we don't think that's going to happen. You know, looking at our, at least League esports specifically, their viewership and stuff is actually going up. They hit a bunch of, like, records for viewership last year, I think, with Worlds and everything. So yeah, now instead of the 50% split with Riot, the teams will be receiving a fixed stipend. They didn't say any kind of number or anything, obviously, but that should help the teams be more profitable. And they also mentioned a couple other things that they're going to implement to help the teams make more money. The first of which, and probably most important for fans, is that they're going to introduce more in-game items like they just did with Valorant. So if anyone's seen, Valorant recently released like team bundles for every single team in the VCT. So they want to do something like that with League, but the thing that I wonder is what exactly, because they already, like, around MSI and Worlds, for the teams that qualify, they already put like icons and emotes and stuff in the game for those teams. So it's like, other than that, what are you going to do? Make a champion skin? But that's like usually reserved for winning the world championship as a reward to the teams. So I wonder what specifically they're going to do, but regardless, I think it's a great idea. They say that in-game digital items is the most scalable revenue source for the teams, so I think that's great. And then the last thing, which I was not expecting at all reading this article, was that they're going to start allowing third-party events again for League Esports, which is very interesting because at the early days of League Esports, there were third-party events allowed. You know, there were DreamHacks, there was Katowice, I think. But, you know, at some point that changed and it was literally just like LEC, LCS, LCK.
Yeah, Riot cannibalized it themselves.
Yeah,
Blizzard did the same thing with Overwatch.
Which is fine for teams that are good and are able to compete at international events, but for teams that don't necessarily qualify to all the international events, you know, they're same thing with Valorant. You know, there are long breaks in between seasons sometimes, and they can go months without playing. And you know, how are they going to get revenue in that meantime if there's no in-game items, if there's no you know, events? So I think it is great, and apparently they said that like players have been asking for this to happen, so I'm glad that they're listening to the players, that they're bringing this back. It just raises more questions like, how is that going to impact Worlds or MSI qualification, if at all? Probably, or if they will still reserve that. I probably not, like, because same thing with like Counter-Strike, it's like certain events help. Well, that's not even true, but because like the major qualification is like its own thing, but there are tournaments where it's like some smaller tournaments do help you qualify for those, but then there are other tournaments that just have no impact whatsoever. So I would also assume not, but you know, it's interesting.
That'd be a little silly.
Yeah,
I will say, if that became the case, I don't think Riot will let that happen. They will probably make it pretty clear of like any tournament that we don't run officially is not a part of the regular season pool of matches.
Yeah, probably not. I think it does kind of spice up at least like fan conversation of like, if this one team like wins a bunch of third-party events but doesn't win like MSI or Worlds, like how do fans view them, like, I don't know, historically or like strength wise? Like, I don't know, it brings up an interesting topic for when people talk about like best team in the world or like GOAT players and stuff like that. Like, I don't know.
It is interesting looking at their new business model and how this global revenue pool through the their digital sales is like being split, because it's like all the tier 1 teams get 50% just flat of that pool, but then like 35% of it then is allocated based on regional and international placement and standings, and then the last 15% goes into rewarding teams for developing strong fandom for their players, leagues, and team brands. So teams will get paid. Essentially, they're being incentivized to like build stronger like fan connections, which I think is pretty cool. To reward teams for something like that. So.
Well, and the stronger fan connections helps to bring more viewership to
and
the
more
overall...
money.
Yes, exactly.
Get a positive feedback
loop
going here.
That is an important thing to incentivize.
I think especially for a league like the LCS, where traditionally they're not like the strongest at international events, and because of that don't bring in as much sponsors. Like Worlds was held in NA 2 years ago in 2022, and lots of people were saying like Riot put it there so that businesses can see like, oh, like League is such a good thing in NA, and then they all sucked that year.
It's just a bunch of Korean Chinese teams.
But the fan basis for the teams in the LCS is very strong. So I think, being able to rely more on in-game items where fans will buy as opposed to sponsors who aren't necessarily drawn to the LCS is very, very positive in the North American
True
scene.
and real. Yeah. Because I think if esports is gonna try and get back into the favor of the world, because it's been a pretty rough couple last years for esports across the board. I think if it's gonna get on the comeback, I think Riot's gonna be the one that leads that, because I mean they've got two of the biggest esports in the world, in Valorant and League, and there's no other company that I mean, like technically Valve does because they've got Dota 2 and CS:GO, but Valve doesn't treat those in the same way. Like you don't hear about Dota 2 esports until the international. And then it's like, and then CS:GO, it's like
none of the events are theirs.
There's like none of the events are theirs, and generally speaking, unless you're European, no one really follows like CS:GO esports. Like CS2 esports doesn't exist outside of Europe. It just doesn't. Korea's not playing CS. North America's not playing CS. It's all the Europeans.
Oh, yeah, it's strongest in.
It's a
Europe,
strong,
for sure.
like it's strong.
The NA scene is reviving, I will say.
So it's like Riot's the only company that has not one but two international esports that is in all of the major regions, because most other companies have one if they're lucky. So I think Riot's going to need to be the one that leads the charge to kind of get things back into shape, and then hopefully everyone else kind of sees what they do and follows their lead. So cool stuff on that one. All right, Hyrum, let's talk about AI.
Yes. So this game was, or at least the project was called Project Ava, through Keyword Studio. Supposedly they have not released any information on what the game was supposed to be, other than it was like a 2D platformer sort of thing. And it was supposedly intentionally meant to be an experiment to see if a game could be entirely made using AI, which they basically concluded, no, that can't work because, what was their quote? Technology was unable to replace talent. Which, I mean, I think that makes sense, but I guess is, I guess to see how far they could push the envelope with AI to see where its limitations are. And I think one of the biggest things they discovered was, especially when it comes to voice acting and whatnot, like a lot of games use for like really minor characters will use AI to just generate that speech, but this game was doing that for major characters and whatnot, and that just does not go well. And so ultimately what they concluded, which I think just is kind of common sense, is AI is a very helpful tool. The tool cannot operate on its own. You give it to the people who have talent and have good expertise, and they can make something special of it that just a person alone couldn't. But yeah, Project Ava. Yeah, all they said is like
it didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work. It was supposed to be a 2D game.
Yeah.
What was it supposed to be about? Don't know. It was an experiment.
I do think that it's helpful, I think, to assuage a lot of concerns that people have had, though, with AI. I think a lot of people have been very concerned about AI taking over the gaming market. And so the fact that this experiment has been done and failed does show that there is still a need for talent, but also the fact that companies did try this does show they really want to just have an AI make their game for them. So
hey, any ways that they can cut costs, they will.
Yes, but I do think it makes sense. Like, it's a great tool, but there really is limits to what it can do.
Yeah, and I think what is helpful about this is it does help those companies show that, like, or I guess it was the company itself looking at, but when people view a game entirely made by AI, the people, aka the customers of whatever game, are not very happy with it. So it does help them realize, okay, well, we still have
some level of human talent.
Human talent, and it still needs to appeal to humans. It can't just be perfectly cheap and efficient. So
keep the people happy.
Yes, have to actually keep people happy.
Keep people happy. That's something that Aspyr doesn't know how to do. Segue. So you guys remember how at the Nintendo Partner Showcase, they're like, guess what, guys? We're gonna bundle the original 2 Star Wars Battlefront games together. We're gonna slightly remaster things. We're gonna add multiplayer. And everyone's like, wow, it's gonna be so exciting. Well, that released. Guess how that went? Because I was ragging on it, saying that it was a waste of money. Well, I was right. When you somehow Aspyr took a 20-year-old game and a 20-year-old completed games and made them incomplete.
How so?
So they released it, and first off, you can get I said this as soon as they announced it. You can get both the original Star Wars Battlefront games on Steam for like $20 when they're not on sale, or $10 for when they're not on sale. Aspyr released this collection for $35. So first red flag is that price point. On launch night, 10,000 players. That's not bad for, you know, a re-release of a collection. Only 3 servers of 64 slots on release night. Otherwise, the multiplayer doesn't work.
Uh-oh.
So everyone's like, oh boy, I can't wait to play Star Wars Battlefront 2 on online servers, only to find out there's only 3 working servers.
Yay.
And it was for both. Both of them had that issue, and that was basically like all of the issues. Like the multiplayer just basically didn't work. Like the single player works, but like realistically, who's booting up Star Wars Battlefront to play single player? Like that, you know, no one's. I mean, I do sometimes as well, but at that point, like, why are you buying?
I mean, why are you buying doing it split screen with my cousin?
Why are you buying the collection? Like, if someone wants to play it single player, why are you buying the collection and not just, you know, the actual standalone game at that point? So like, it came out and the servers were busted, and it led to it having only like having 79% of its reviews on Steam being negative.
Ooh, that's
and it's not
horrible.
like in instances like when Overwatch 2 came out on Steam where it just got review bombed. No, this game genuinely was unplayable for people that were wanting to play multiplayer.
Oh no.
And it was like, it was like there were so many issues. And like they seemed like they added more servers as released, but like some of them didn't work. So like people were able to join like the heroes versus villains matches properly. So you ended up with like incomplete lobbies, and then and there were like 0 servers for Battlefront 1 on release.
Which is like the entirety of that game. Like, isn't there like no single player in Battlefront 1?
Battlefront 1's campaign is a little. Yeah, it's a little interesting. And what's even funny is that there's 0 aim assist in the multiplayer as well. So players who are playing on console versus PC players, they might as well just give up. Because if you have ever tried to play a first-person shooter in cross-platform, if there's no aim assist for the console players, they're not doing anything. Aim assist is so important for consoles.
Was there ever aim assist?
No, there is. No, if you play,
I don't remember that.
No, there is.
Okay.
Well, it's like aim assist of itself. If a game is confined only to console, aim assist being in there is kind of like whatever, because no one has it. But as soon as you start allowing cross-platform play, fairness goes out the window if you don't have aim assist. Aim assist is literally the only thing that allows for that fairness. Now, I don't know if there is cross-platform. I would assume there is. Maybe there isn't, but there's no aim assist at all. So it's like, even if you are only playing on Xbox or on PlayStation or on Switch, I guess, aim assist, you just feel like you can't hit anything because you can't track fast targets across the screen, because aim assist helps pull you in that direction. So it's like there being no aim assist basically just makes it really unplayable for console players. And then apparently like the Series X version on the Xbox like didn't work properly during like split screen multiplayer, and it's so, and what's so funny is that in the trailer that Aspyr put out for this, they used footage of a mod and not the actual gameplay. Needless to say, nobody is very happy with Aspyr right now, and they already had a very shoddy like track record because they were the ones behind the Switch port for the second Knights of the Old Republic game that was like kind of a mess on release and didn't have like the restored content mod in it until much later. So people were already not happy with it, and they were the ones that were originally assigned to do the remake of the first Knights of the Republic game, you know, the one that's kind of been dead for the better half of like 2.5 years now.
I hope
so Aspyr is not a company that people are very happy with, and then this happens and everyone's like, okay, we've had it. Get this company out of our Star Wars games. This is terrible. So you know, people aren't happy, so I say to everyone again, just buy the normal games on Steam. They're right there. And like, if you're on Xbox, like the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, I think Battlefront 1 as well, has been like in the Xbox store for ages on Game Pass, I'm pretty sure. Like, you can get them backwards compatible. Like, you can buy them. They're there. If you're on PlayStation and Switch, well, get over it, you know? I'm sorry, but I'm not. Just buy like the original Xbox games on Steam. They can run on a potato. Like, they were made in 2004. They can run on a potato, and they're $10. You know, in fact, let's find out how much it's spring sale right now. I'm gonna do live,
I guarantee they're on
live
sale right
investigative
now.
journalism. Here we go.
I forgot about spring sale. I need to buy some
fun
games,
fact, everyone:
actually.
the Steam sale, spring sale. Go get your games. Smile. All right, Battlefront 2 on Steam is $10. In fact, okay, now this is really funny. The new Battlefront 2 is $5.
That shows.
Well, I mean, that game is carried by its mods. So that one, if you want a really weird modded game experience, Battlefront 2, the new one, is $5. The classic one is $10. Because let's be honest, does anyone really play the original Battlefront 1? Is that something that people like still genuinely try and play?
I don't think anyone play. The one thing I do have very is on the very first Battlefront, the old first one, on Kashyyyk. If you play as a sniper and you take one of the bases that's like on one of the upper platforms looking over the dock, there's a perfect sniping spot where your space allows you to snipe people, but you're just close enough to an ammo and health machine. So your health is just getting constantly replenished, and your ammo is getting constantly replenished, and you can just keep sniping people endlessly.
I don't think that's a Battlefront 1 quirk. Battlefront 2 had a lot of those places.
Well, Battlefront 1 does have the Sarlacc pit, though.
True.
And Battlefront 2 does not. Plus, I also another thing that I have a fond memory of on Battlefront 1 is the Geonosis map. You can find Mace Windu on there.
Well, yes. Battlefront 2,
you can try and kill him,
play as Mace
yeah,
Windu.
But it's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not this playing as Mace Windu. It's not quite the
like
same as killing him.
The immersion of like seeing the characters. It's like think of it like this. You're not gonna get this, but think of it as like Genshin Impact versus Honkai Star Rail. Okay, like in Genshin Impact, you can play as the NPCs. Mm-hmm. But when you're not doing like a quest, you cannot find the NPCs in the open world unless there's like an event going on. They're just gone. But in Honkai Star Rail, they are there. And you like that. I'm just saying. Like, yeah, you can play as them, but you want them in the world.
My immersion
Now,
in
is
my
that why I
Star
never
Wars
played
game.
Battlefront? No.
See, I never played the first Battlefront. It was always Battlefront 2. So there we go. Further argument. Why in the world do you buy a $35 collection that includes a game that most people don't play anymore when you can just spend $10 and get a fully working version of the game that everyone still plays or wants to play? You can have Mace Windu in the second game.
Not the same. Only on certain maps. Well, I guess.
your argument's dead there,
I'll
buddy.
take that back.
Yeah, you can only play as Mace Windu on certain maps, but you can only see him on Geonosis.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, I bought it. If you wait for the right sale, you can get it for $5. Although you probably have to wait for the winter sale, probably. I don't know. All I'm saying is there's better ways to spend your $35.
Like on Republic Commando.
You could also buy Republic Commando. You could also buy the Knights of the Old Republic games.
Yeah.
You can buy. In fact, hold up.
The new Battlefront probably is like $20, I bet.
No, the new Battlefront 2 is $5. It's $5.
Oh, is it?
It's on sale right now for $5.
Only $5.
And the modding scene for that one is in. I think you could probably buy.
Wow.
You could probably buy Fallen Order for less than $35 right now as well. The first one, the first Jedi Survivor game.
Or you can also
we got it for what, $7 at GameStop.
Yeah, there you go.
You could also buy Jedi Academy, which has
a
modding fan base where there's like lots of multiplayer maps.
You could buy both. In fact, you could buy basically every classic Star Wars game for cheaper than the collection, including Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Star Wars Battlefront 2 for cheaper than you can buy Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm begging you people, why would you buy this? Why? It should have been red flags from the get-go that this wasn't going to be good and everyone took the bait. Don't do it. Think. Anyways, that I just think it's funny because I was calling this out as soon as it was announced. I was like, this isn't gonna go well, and I feel pretty vindicated right now. I feel like I'm I tried to warn them. They tried to listen to it. They didn't. He tried to warn them, but they didn't listen.
Yep.
Anyways, that's all the news topics. If anyone has anything else they want to bring up before we go out, speak now or forever hold your peace. Especially you, Hyrum, because I don't know the next time you'll be back.
No, I got nothing.
How far are you in your Knights of the Republic playthrough? Have you finished?
Oh, I stopped playing that a little while ago.
Okay.
I paused.
That's because he realized that he could play Baldur's Gate.
Yes, I was excited about that, and then I got Baldur's Gate. I'm like, oh, this is way more up my alley. I'm a really big D&D player, and having that in video game format is. Star Wars is great. I do love me some Star Wars, but Baldur's Gate, pretty great. Then again, the last week I spent playing Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay,
and
so he just has his commitment issues with his games.
Yes.
He's got commitment issues.
But I think where did I leave off? I think I left. I just beat. Dathomir. Dathomir was the last planet storyline.
But you can choose the order of planets, so it doesn't necessarily tell us that much. It's like because I usually do Dathomir last, or not Dathomir. What is it? The one Sith planet.
Korriban?
Wait, are you talking about Jedi Fallen Order or KOTOR?
I was talking about the Old Republic.
He's talking. Wait, what?
Yeah, there's no Dathomir.
There's no Dathomir. You're thinking
there's
of Korriban?
you're probably thinking of Korriban.
No. Okay, then what's the Sith that you go to in Knights of the Old Republic then?
Korriban. The one with all the rocks and the tombs?
But that still applies.
Yeah. Anyways,
that's Korriban. That doesn't tell us. That doesn't tell us anything though, because you.
Okay.
I always do.
That's the first planet I went to.
You went to it first. Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Skyler, he lacks the critical information. Skyler, he lacks the critical information.
Yeah, I mean.
he hasn't played it through. He doesn't understand the importance. You know, that's.
What planet do you do first, Aiden?
Usually, well, so okay, so we're about to get deep into min-max again. So, well, I'll try and
I
say,
probably don't know
try
it as
and
well as you
I'll
do.
try and say things without any spoilers. So, because of how some of the mechanics in the game works, there's like the optimal strategy is actually to like start various planets simultaneously and just complete them in different orders. So it's like I will usually start Tatooine first so I can go and get the thingy. And then after that, I'll probably start Manon. No, well then I'll start Kashyyyk so I can also... I'll start Kashyyyk. Kill me now. So that I can do... So I can have the other... Get the other doohickey.
Yeah.
And then I actually do Kashyyyk's map last.
Kashyyyk's map is kind of annoying, to be honest.
Because the thingy that happens, you know, the big thingy, allows you to do the map instantly because the system is like, oh, that happened, I don't have to do the things, because you know it makes you jump through hoops to unlock the map if you do it before the big twist.
I honestly don't know if I know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to be vague here.
Well, like I know, I obviously know the big
yeah,
thing,
because
when you say get the thingy, I don't know what that means.
Oh, the person on Kashyyyk. That was what I was talking about. Because I do Tatooine and Kashyyyk. Like I start those simultaneously so that I can get those people, and then I'll get through most of Kashyyyk before, and then the only thing I'll have left is the map. Like I do that one at the very last because it makes you jump through hoops. If you don't do that one last, you have to jump through hoops to unlock the map. But then if you do it last, the game recognizes what's happened. It understands. In terms of that, I usually do Tatooine first because I want to get the power-up item for the lightsabers. But, you know, there's min-maxing, and, you know, it's like, don't do Manon, don't do the water planet before you get the Kashyyyk guy, because I hate the way... Hyrum, when you get to the underwater segments of Manon, we're sorry. That level stinks. They're so slow. Anyways.
Looking forward to it.
It's
classic
a fun...
water level.
Yeah, but see, in Knights of the Republic 2, whenever you're in one of those suits, you can run fast. You can apply the force speed and just, like, gallop around for fun. For funsies. I got to play the beta of SAO Fractured Daydream yesterday. For a beta, it wasn't too bad. I hope that a lot more is added for the actual game, because the gameplay loop is... There's, like, 2 levels and 1 boss fight and 5 playable characters, and that is all. And they didn't give out enough beta codes, so most of the time you'll be lucky if you even have 1 other human player in your party. I had a few matches yesterday where my entire party was just CPUs and I had to carry their butts. But I will say, Xenon is so much fun to play in that game. Her gun combat is awesome. And I can tell that it was made by the same company that did Fatal Bullet, because the music sounds not identical, like it doesn't sound like reused tracks, but it's the exact same vibe of just heavy electric guitar and violins.
Yes.
But that's fun. But that's the show, folks. Anything else before I close us? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, sweet. Knights of the D-Pad is an official publication of the Daily Universe. We'd like to give a special thanks and shout out to Alan Neves and Miles Romney for everything they've done, do, and will continue to do to help us do this podcast. If you would like to reach out to us with ideas for topics, to say hello, to make fun of Cort for not being here, for any number of ideas, just shoot us an email at knightsofdpadpodcast@gmail.com, all lowercase, no spaces, and we will... Your email will be brought up on the episode, because we don't get those very often, unless you're Scott, in which case we get those more frequently than others. But anyways, with that, let's sign off. I'm Aiden.
I'm Lillian.
I'm Hyrum.
I'm Skyler.
And we're Knights of the D-Pad. We will see you all next week.